Well, after this sadly has come to a tragic end for this trilogy. Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, I love. The first one, classic. Definitely classic. Beverly Hills Cop 2, great sequel. Both films, love the comedy, the chemistry with the Axel Foley and with Rosewood and Taggart, the wisecracks, the jokes, even the action too, the music, the score, the good directing by both Martin Brest and Tony Scott, with the producers Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. Now we get to this beyond disappointing pile of nothingness. This has nothing what the previous two films had. Threw away everything in it. No comedy, no good action, no good music, nothing. Such a huge letdown. Now, I haven't seen the sequel in a long time. I remember not liking it a lot. Just rewatched it. I can't believe how freaking bad this is. It's like we compare it to these two films. It's night and day. Man. Okay, there's nothing to this movie. Nothing about it. No, the acting, comedy, score, directing, everything. There's not one good thing I can say about this movie. Not one good thing about it. Now, I don't want to yell so much because I have a sore throat right now. Because I don't want to crack my voice or make it even worse. So, everything about this, okay. I don't know where to start. Well, I know how the whole film is bad when you have Axel Foley, a beloved character, always wisecracking, all that stuff, when he's in an elephant suit. Right there. When he's in an elephant suit. That's not how far I know how it's gone downhill from here. John Landis, guy who directed Trading Places and Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. He also directed the Kentucky Fried movie, which I remember liking, but I haven't seen in a long time though. He directed Blues Brothers and then Blues Brothers 2000. He directed Oscar, which was Sylvester Stallone, which I like. Better comedy than this. Shows Sylvester Stallone he can act in a comedy film. American Werewolf in London. Three Amigos. I think he was just the wrong guy to direct this film. I don't think you can direct him directing like an action movie with a comedy in it. Yeah, it's R-rated for violence and some language. Yeah, I would say this. It has more F-bombs than the previous movies. For what I heard. And the biggest mistake though, Axel Foley, he's not the wisecracking cop from the previous two films. That's a big mistake they did. You know, he talks himself in and out of situations, like how to get himself in and out of stuff, and he always is talking, hey, and he doesn't do any of that. He doesn't do nothing of that. Because I think we want to do more of a serious, make Axel Foley be more serious and not funny and all that stuff. Whatever they did, it was a big mistake because they completely deviates what Axel Foley is. He's a cop who, he acts funny, wisecracking, and it was a mistake for them to do that. And John Landis and also the writers as well. Everything about this was the comedy was shitty in this, and the score. Who did the score? Yeah, Harold. Harold, who Faltermeyer, who did the scores on the previous two films, doesn't come back, and the score by who did this score? I didn't say on here. Nile Rodgers. Forgettable score. Nothing memorable about it. Even the Axel F score, da 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 da, sounds crappier than the previous films. Everything is there's nothing. One thing about this film I can say about it, nothing. And even Eddie Murphy himself says this film is atrocious. In fact, I'm just reading up on trivia for a little behind the scenes. Eddie Murphy said he thought Beverly Hills Cop 3 was infinitely better than Beverly Hills Cop 2, and then he later claimed in an interview in 2006 on the Inside Actors Studio that he felt that the third film was atrocious and such a disgrace that the character was kind of banished for a while, in parentheses, from Hollywood. He said he felt that the third film did not reveal enough of the edginess of Axel that was present in the first two films. He also said he hopes to return the edgy qualities to the character when he reprises his role the next time, and is going to pay more attention to develop the project and its quality. And then another one says in an interview in 1994, the year this film came out, Eddie Murphy said that the film is different from the trilogy's first installment because Axel is more mature and no longer the wisecracking rookie cop. Well, okay, first of all, Axel Foley is not a rookie cop. First of all, he wasn't. He was never a rookie. He was never a rookie cop to begin with. I don't know why Eddie Murphy's saying he's a rookie cop. He's not. Yeah, but the other thing is he's no longer the wisecracking. He's no longer wisecracking. That's what he is. He did no wisecracking at all in this film. Like for instance, okay, when basically the thing is the whole thing is inside this theme park called Wonder Park. When he pulls up to the booth, for when you get the tickets, he doesn't talk because he says he wants to talk to the head of security there, and it says, the person says, "Do you have an appointment?" And he says, "I'm supposed to." Like he doesn't talk like the wise. He doesn't use his talk. He doesn't talk in himself like his way in like he usually does. Like in Beverly Hills Cop 2 when he talks his way into the gun club when he holds like the bag of like explosives, or the first film when he talked his way into on the warehouse for the inspection of the customs or whatever. Just like that, right? He doesn't do it. Here, what does he do? Well, since he doesn't since you don't have an appointment, you might as well, you want to get in the theme park, pay $35 for a ticket. And these two security guards come in, and you know what? He goes and pays for the ticket anyway, just to get in. He doesn't talk himself in, talk his way into it, nothing. It's like that, He doesn't talk what the character does in the previous two films. He wisecracks his way inside and out stuff. He doesn't do that, nothing in this movie. Nothing. And that's what deviates what the character was in the first two films. Which I would say it was a big mistake. So yeah, he is no longer the wisecracking cop, not a rookie cop. I don't know what Eddie Murphy was saying about that. He's not a rookie cop. And there was also so many ideas that they wanted to do overseas. I think it was Paris or London or something like that, and I don't know. It was they were all a bunch of lame ideas anyway. They want Judge Randle comes back and he's wasted in this. He's barely he's a little bit in the beginning and then more in the end. He's kind of out of it in the middle of it. So he's wasted in this film. him and Eddie Murphy don't share the chemistry they had in the first two films. John Ashton doesn't come back. And we play as Taggart. He doesn't come back in this. So instead, Judge Randle has another partner named Flint, played by Hector Elizondo, which I like Hector Elizondo as an actor. I like him. He's funny, and especially he was in Leviathan with George P. Cosmatos and Peter Weller. Of course, he was in The Princess Diaries, the sequel. But I liked him. He was funny in the show with Tim Allen, Last Man Standing. He was funny in that show. I like Hector Elizondo. Oh, can't forget his role in Pretty Woman with Richard Gere and Julie Roberts. I like Hector Elizondo, but here it's a pointless role for him. Sad to say. So, yeah, it's pointless. It's a pointless role for him. The bad guy is forgettable and lame. He's nothing like what Steven Berkoff as Maitland was, or Jurgen Prochnow as Maxwell Dent, or even Bridget Nelson as what was her character's name? Forget her name though, but still, both of them were good villains in that film and in the sequel. And this guy who's DeWall is the bad guy's name. Forgettable, lame. Even with how it opens up, okay, it's back in Detroit. Eddie Murphy has Axel Foley, which he's basically not Axel Foley. He's not wisecrack anymore. He's more serious, and he's trying to make him be more of an action star now. And he's not. He wasn't meant to be an action star to begin with. It's just a. Anyway, forget about that. But he's just talking with his group of cops that are trying to do this chop shop. And you get these two fat guys dancing to a Diana Ross song. Then our villain comes in. Supposed to pay them, but they kill everyone. Then the cops, they get in and they shoot. And then Gilbert Hill, who plays Inspector Todd from the previous two films, likable, and he gets killed. The main bad guy shoots him. And then with his last words, like, go get the son of a bitch. And then he dies. With the funny dialogues he had with him and Eddie Murphy in the previous two films, nothing in this film. So him and Judge Randle, the only two original characters coming back. So they're both wasted. He gets into a car chase with the bad guys, and because it's a car that falls apart, it wasn't finished, and the information that they're from California, because they had a briefcase was a towel named Wonder Park, so clearly gives away where they're at. And it's in California, in Beverly Hills. I mean, and that's the reason why after the Inspector Todd's funeral, he goes down there. He goes to speak with Judge Reinhold, and he's like this. He's part of this new thing about what was he part of? Whatever his position is. DDO JSIOC. Whatever. And then Hector Elizondo comes in, and then he goes to Wonder Park, and then he he approaches the phone booth. He said like he's supposed to have an appointment with the head of security. He doesn't wisecrack his way talk his way into it. But instead, no, he sees some security guards, he pays for the ticket. And then he meets with this girl who works there, played by Theresa Randle. She's clearly supposed to be the love interest. No chemistry at all. And then he sees our bad guy, tries to get him, but of course, because the bad guy he plays innocent, it's like, oh, I never seen him before or whatever, and he's crazy, and John Saxon, Nightmare on Elm Street and Enter the Dragon, and I said before, I met John Saxon. I put a video of me meeting John Saxon. Good guy. He's also in on with the bad guys as well. He's also wasted in this, sadly. I like John Saxon, but he's wasted in this. I already knew he's a bad guy. He also tends to play innocent. The Axel Foley is crazy as well. Then he goes. Then there are bad guys. Like since he's like a good guy at being the best security, he goes to his award. He has his award show, and Axel and Rosewood go to the award show, and he meets up with another guy from the first film, Serge. He was working at the art gallery. Offered like Rosewood an espresso. So he's there to showcase like this new weapon of his, like it's called Annihilator 2000. It's supposed to have like a microwave and a radio and all those other unnecessary components. To be honest, it's a crappy looking design for a gun anyway. And then the guy goes up for his award. Axel Foley just does this. Bravo! Hey, look at this guy. He's a good guy and all that stuff. And then he goes and tries to punches him, and then gets in trouble. He gets put in jail. He gets bailed out by the guy who works for the FBI, which I already knew he was a bad guy anyway, because when he first saw him, he just appears out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh, I'm an FBI guy," and which turns out later he's a turncoat. And I'm thinking, and I'm looking at this guy who plays the FBI agent. I'm like, that guy looked familiar. And I just realized that's the guy who plays the captain in 2012. When they get to the arcs before the second title, before the wave hits. For all the people can be safe in the ships. That's the guy. I remember that's the guy who played the captain, because I remember I not long ago I just watched 2012 when I reviewed it, and that's the guy who plays the captain. I was like, that's him from 2012. Well, I know because this is 1994 though, but I'm just saying. No, that's the guy who plays the captain from 2012. He's his FBI agent. Yeah. This film is making my throat hurt even more. Trying to get this as fast as I can, because this sequel is completely forgettable. This, to me, I agree. There's a reason why this has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was even nominated for 2 Razzies for worst sequel and then for worst director. I would agree with Rotten Tomatoes. It deserves 10%, even lower, and that's why it's the lowest grossing of the series, with a budget of $50 million and made but $42 million domestically. About worldwide $113 million. It was far less than the previous 2 films. Man, it was a mistake. It was a mistake trying to make this a very serious action comedy, and change the character completely. All the funny things he did in the previous films. Eddie Murphy. Yeah, he says the film was atrocious. I can even see, as I'm watching his performance in this film, I can even see he's just going through it, He's just probably need a paycheck for this one, because he wasn't having too many hits, I think it was, during this time. Around this time here. So, I clearly see he was just going through the motions. He was. So, talks to the FBI, tells him to leave town. But anyway, of course he doesn't. He goes back to the Wonder Park. He finds find clues, like even he talks with the owner of the park, was it Uncle Dave, and it's played by Uncle Scrooge. What do I mean by that? Alan Young. But he sadly he passed away in 2016 at age 96. Throughout this whole time, he voiced Uncle Scrooge. Huey, Louie, Dewey, Donald Duck. Yeah, Uncle Scrooge. I was like, why is Uncle Scrooge in this movie? Yeah, Uncle Scrooge. He voiced Uncle Scrooge like way back when, up until his death. And of course, I remember I like Uncle Scrooge. Hey, I haven't liked the movie DuckTales: The Legend of the Lost Lamp. Eddie Murphy, Axel Foley talking to Uncle Scrooge. Why is he in this movie? Even if it was Uncle Scrooge actually in this movie, he probably wouldn't have saved the movie anyway. Yeah, and then he tells the guy who designed the park he left a note. And he goes, but one thing was, he goes in the park and he stumbles on it's counterfeiting. That's what the whole bad guy's plot is. It's counterfeiting money. Even the bad guys more elaborate have more elaborate plans in the previous two films. I mean, what we have in the first film, okay, yeah, it's either bearer bonds or drugs, whatever, being passed through before inspected through customs. Yeah, the second film, which I thought was a much more elaborate plan. Can't say the word right. Plan. With Jurgen Prochnow, he's ripping out places from his own money to sell, buy guns of the alphabet crimes. Here's this counterfeiting money. What? This is a cliche one we've seen a couple times. Yeah, it's counterfeiting money. We've seen it before. And of course, the way where he gets it, he goes to undercover in this elephant suit right there. Yeah, this is what Axel Foley is. A badass looking cop he's shooting bad guys, and he's talking himself into situations, and his disguise is dressed up as an elephant. And even to the point where, where he's being chased by bad guys, he comes outside where the other costume characters, they're dancing, singing the song, Wonder Park, and then he's dancing right there. Like I said before, I think I probably said before, and yeah, it's R-rated, but I will say this, it has more F-bombs than all the previous two films. I'll say that. And when he's being chased by the security guard, the bad guys, okay, a dumb thing. Okay, this is one dumb thing. He's running from the bad guys. So he goes into this ride called a Spider. He cuts in line, and also when he cuts in front of the line, the person there's this couple that was in front of him. And he cuts in line. The guy he cuts in front of is director George Lucas. I forgot he was in this movie. Why is he in this again? Well, I know George Lucas. I know his prequels and stuff he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. And that animated movie, Strange Things. I forget what I reviewed it. It's forgettable to me. George Lucas, yeah. I think also that director Joe Dante had a cameo appearance in this as well. I forget where he was at. But yeah, the thing is, beside all that, dumb things, Axel Foley, he's in this, he's in this thing with the Spider, where if he wants to try to hide or escape from the bad guys, he could just duck down where no one could see him. But no, he just goes. He's on the ride. He goes and waves to them. Just where he's at, waves to them. No, so let's try to hide so they don't know where he's at, and he just goes and waves like a dumbass like this. And then because of that, the guards, they mess up the ride. The thing stalls, and these two kids are hanging on for life, and Axel. Oh, they do a stunt work where we're jumping on from car to car to save the kids. Yeah, sure. And I say a lot of it was like on a fake screen when on certain wide shots. So they think that Axel Foley is crazy and all that, and I don't want to get through this. This film's forgettable. I don't want to make this to a long review. One thing leads to another, where he gets brought back and he thinks he's crazy. The bad guys, once again, they play innocent. Where Axel takes him to where he thinks where the counterfeit money is, but it's like Wonder Park money, cover up, so make him not believe Axel. And then when Hector Elizondo takes him away, all he does is he yells, "Stop, stop, stop!" And then he just gets out of the car and runs away because he was being fought for the bad guys, though. But still, then Uncle Dave talks to him. Uncle Scrooge, I would say, Alan Young, Uncle Scrooge. Eddie Murphy tells him that there's a barcode that the note that he left, and it's actually perfect for a mint paper to make the counterfeit money with. The bad guy gets there and shoots Uncle Dave, but he's still alive. And then when it leads to another, they get this big finale is the shootout at the Wonder Park. Yeah, so it's supposed to be much more action and violence. Yeah, I would say it's probably more. The finale probably has more violence than the previous films. Probably, yeah, I guess more shooting. I mean, everybody shoots one. Even when Judge Reinhold gets there with him and the girl Theresa Randle gets trapped with her, but it breaks out just by breaking the glass, and then Eddie Murphy okay, he does something I don't know how he does this. I know it's the computer for back in the day though, but he makes make the counterfeit money, right, and the one has to make the faces. Somehow when John Saxon gets there, he looks at it and he's looking at the paper money with Eddie Murphy's face on it. I don't know how he did that though, but I don't know how he could put the photo of his face on there on the computer and put in the money. I don't know how he did that. And then John Saxon gets killed by a person, which I figured out who it was. Then there's a show, the ride, for a stupid scene where Axel Foley gets scared by a fake saber-toothed tiger. One pops on his face and he's like, oh, and he falls down. Yeah. And Hector Elizondo gets there. He shoots one bad guy, and then that's all he does. He shoots one bad guy. Then he gets shot in the arm. Then eventually, Axel shoots the main bad guy, and then the FBI agent gets there. The guy who played the captain from 2012. I forget what the other guy's name is. He reveals his story. Then he shoots him. Then him and Hector Elizondo, they sit down, and then Judge Randle comes up he's all bloodied up, he shot one guy before, and he gets shot up. I think he assumed he had a bulletproof vest on because I didn't see no bullet holes on him. But then he comes walking, he's all bloodied up and battered, and they're all just laughing. And then by the end of the movie, Uncle Scrooge he's still alive, and him, Hector Elizondo and Judge Randle, they're all wounded up, and I'm just calling Uncle Scrooge Alan Young. I'm just calling him Uncle Scrooge. He wants to award Axel Foley for saving the park and all that, and they make a mascot, another character for the park, and his name Axel Fox, where Fox wearing the Detroit Lions coat he has, which he wears he doesn't wear this the whole movie. He wears this. Which, why? It was cool to him to see him wearing this. He wears it earlier in the movie, but not... Even right here, he wears it in this cover. Which also just another thing to point out. Very lazy-looking cover. I mean, look at that. When you compare a whole lot to the first film right there, and then the second film right there, and you look at the poster for this, I mean, even the poster I'll show you right here, where it's just him behind the roller coaster rails. I mean, that's also lazy as well. The first two the covers for the first two movies were better, poster wise. Man, I don't know what I can say. Nothing about this. Nothing good about this at all. This film is starting to make me sick now. I have a sore throat and it's starting to make me cough now. This film is literally starting to make me sick now. Next thing I'll be puking all over the place and sneezing on it so much. That's how bad this movie is. The film is a cold, a disease, and it's making me catch it. Nothing good about this movie at all. What more can I say? It's unfunny. No memorable lines at all. The score is horrendous. The mixed or different alteration of Axel F is bad. John Landis, I think, is the wrong choice of director for this film. The writing is horrible. Eddie Murphy is just going through the motions. I clearly see it. He admits that this film was atrocious. Although, yeah, and the chemistry with him and Judge Reinhold is just nothing. Nothing what he had in the first two movies. I think it was it was a mistake for him for being totally, what was he, mature and not wisecracking. That was a big mistake. And there was they should have probably should have paid John Ashton a lot of money to come back, but the chemistry they had these three shared, especially in the sequel, it was great. Throughout the whole movie, them having just go at each other. Good chemistry and good back and forth. Him and Judge Reinhold, nothing. Even and Hector Elizondo, nothing. He was wasted in this movie, and same with Judge Reinhold at the same time. Bad guys beyond lame. The plot what their plot for was lame as well. Counterfeiting, whoop-de-doo. Some stupid choices. First of all, have him disguised as an elephant, and then the order to hide I'm gonna hide in this ride. Which why hide from a ride? Hide in a ride anyway. We can't go anywhere. Instead of ducking down trying to hide, no, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb, like a dumbass, and wave to them. And even a couple times where the bad guys, they're not too far from Eddie Murphy when they shoot at him. They shoot and they miss. Like one time where he's talking on a phone, and the bad guys are not that too far from him to shoot at, and they miss him. Sheesh. What else? The girl who plays he's supposed to be like the love interest. No chemistry between him and her and Eddie Murphy. What else? Yeah, Inspector Todd Gilbert Hill is wasted as well. Nothing good about this movie. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is a complete nothingness of what these two movies had. Axel Foley being a wisecracking, he's always talking himself into situations, whether to get with the bad guys or just doing other stuff, like how like the second film how he got into the house where they were doing construction, where he just talked his way in just to get in this house, or how he talked also in the second film where he in that strip club where he said, that's how make John Taggart talking like he's Gerald Ford and all that, or the first film where he's saying how he got into the hotel, like, I'm here for an interview with Michael Jackson and all that, and all the other great things he did, the lines he said in these two films. Here is nothing. Instead of just trying to wisecrack his way into the amusement park, he just goes and buys a ticket. Nothing. So yeah, this film probably deserves to be forgotten. And also, Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson, they're not involved in this. They're not. Probably for good reason. They probably thought that this film was bad and all that stuff, so they just said, screw that, we're not going to be involved in it. Man, I don't know if I should go on this further. It's a piece of shit. I was saying, it's a piece of shit and just deserves to be forgotten. Just forget this film and just watch these two films. They're great and they're classics. The first one was definitely a classic. The second film was a great sequel. And now they want to do a fourth film. Probably because Eddie Murphy, he needs another hit. He hasn't had a hit in decades. Well, not decades. Okay, I'll just like give it 10 years at most. Probably 15 max, but he hasn't had a hit. He hasn't had a hit in years. Probably needs one. Probably if he wants to go back to be the wisecracking he is, fine. But it's too little, too late. It's too little, too late. This was 94, and it's 25 years later. You think that the fourth one's gonna work? Man, I don't know if this knows. I'm done talking about this film. So yeah, nothing good about this movie whatsoever. No our characters. Eddie Murphy, he's going through the motions. He's just not Axel Foley in this film. To me, cast, score, music, directing, action. Nothing good about this movie. Nothing. There's no more I can say. So I hope. Yes, this film started to make me sick and burp up again now. I gotta stop and clear my throat up. Because this film is literally hurting me right now. Where is that? This film is literally hurting me. And I'm not having it. So I hope you enjoy this rant on the as of right now, the last film of the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. Still don't know how the fourth one was going to do. Well, if it ever gets made. They say, like, what, 2020? I don't know. I don't care no more. But yeah, but I hope you enjoyed my review of this trilogy. Just skip the third film and just stick to watching these two films. They're great. Classics, I love them. Stick to watching these films. Great comedy and chemistry. Forget this. Piece of garbage. Thanks for watching and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.